So what happens then basically is that the interplay between supply on this side and demand on this side is being digitized in the middle. Now, what supply and demand does in the economy is it sets prices, because if there's a lot of demand and no supply, things get very expensive. They're pretty pricey. Think about gold. If there's a lot of supply and almost no demand, then it's pretty cheap, cheap as sand on the beach. And that's the difference between gold and sand on the beach, right? So supply and demand, but actually is nothing else than a communication process. We have to communicate how much supply and how much demand it is. And in the digital economy, we are digitizing this communication process, which allows us to set prices almost in real time. So, for example, this is a book. When I started to study that in the late 90s, early thousands, this person wrote a book about dynamic pricing. And he priced his book at $60. Now, the price was dropping every hour that nobody bought the book. If somebody bought the book, the price started to rise again. And as a result, the price was always in equilibrium, in market equilibrium, say, in an economic sense. And you could program that whenever the price hits, I don't know, $40, you go ahead and buy it, and the algorithm would buy it at 3 o'clock in the morning. So this is digitizing supply and demand, and therefore adjusting prices in real time, and therefore maximizing the efficiency between me, I benefit from it, and also the vendor benefits from it, because the vendor can sell as much as it possibly can. The market is always in this kind of price equilibrium. There's one market that takes advantage of that already for a long time. Which market is that? It's a stock market. The stock market basically drove the digitization of actually the economy and was the first one to digitize its pricing mechanisms. The price every second that the market is open is being adjusted according to supply and demand. Modern stock brokers depend on this digital kind of negotiation so much that they even realize that, well, while digital information flows in real time, it's still, we call it real time, it's still at the speed of light, and the speed of light needs some time, very little time, but it needs some time to travel. So the further you are away from the market, the more it takes to get to the market, and the more you're in a disadvantage if you want to take advantage of market fluctuations. That's why in New York, where all the servers of the stock market are actually allocated here in the Carrier Hotel, stock market companies try to move as close as they can to the Carrier Hotel where they can connect to the servers. So these kind of stockbrokers here are at a clear advantage because they are a couple of milliseconds, if not microseconds, probably microseconds, they are closer to the market than these stockbrokers here, which are entire 1, 2, 3, probably 4 blocks away. And these high frequency traders, as they're called, for them it is very important to calculate the speed of light, the fraction that it takes for digital information to travel, to take advantage of these kind of things. Now, if the creation of a price as the interplay between supply and demand is nothing else than a communication process that can be digitized, and given that in the digital there's not only communication but also computation possible in the same platform, I can also just use computers and tell algorithms to make buying and selling decisions and decisions how to set prices. And that's what these traders actually do. That's why they're also called algorithmic traders. Now, this can also go terribly wrong. For example, here in Amazon, some of these pricing algorithms were used to set the price of a book. This is a book on the genetics of a fly. And there are two suppliers here, and they both told the algorithm to evaluate the supply, the offers that are being made. And they said, well, if there's somebody else that supplies this book, charge a little bit more than the other one, right? So that was the algorithm, basically how it worked. And it turned out Suddenly, even so, you could buy this book used for $35. Suddenly, this book cost $1,700,000, and this supplier here offered it for $2,198. Now, you checked in a little bit later. This book cost already $18,600,000, and this supplier he always a little bit more cheeky, already demanded $23,698,000 plus $399 for shipping. Of course, well, obviously this book was not very much in demand. People might have as well bought a penthouse in Manhattan for that money, but that can also happen when you completely digitize supply and demand.